all. So today we're going to do a methane report. I'm not going to go through all of the methane issues because I don't have enough time for that, but we're just going to hit on the big ones. So let's start by what humans are doing with methane. How are they causing it? So there's been another study about cows and livestock and what that's doing to our planet. It's extremely windy here today, and I had to go through a lot of wind to get up here. So this study studied cows in general, several different types of cows, milk cows, Herefords, and I forget all the name, Anguses and all that different Longhorns. And anyway, they studied all these and they found that cows produce methane in a very interesting way because of their digestive tract and their four stomachs, which means that they digest their food in their stomachs instead of their intestines like humans do. So there's nothing to stop the methane from just pouring out into the atmosphere, and that's the problem. Methane comes out at both ends of cows. So the study found that between 100 and 500 liters of gas comes out of a cow every 24 hours. Let's convert that over to gallons, since we can probably relate to that more. That's between 53 and 132 gallons of methane a day comes out of a cow. You might be asking yourself, well, how much gas is that? Well, that's equal to a car running 24/7 every day. Every cow or a piece of livestock you see is a running car that never shuts off. Well, let's just take a country out of the blue. How about Britain? They have over 10 million head of cattle. Worldwide, we have 998,300,000 head of cattle throughout the world. So a lot of people don't believe that humans can't do anything about methane gas. Well, guess what? You can do quite a bit of something about the methane gas throughout the world. Well, let's first find out what countries have the most cattle. Uruguay, New Zealand, and Argentina are the top three. So this is bad business practice because you're destroying where you live by raising all these cows. Anything with multiple stomachs is causing methane, like sheep. We haven't even talked about them and how much gas they produce. Well, you know the rest of this, where this video is going. But before we go there, let's go over and look at the board and get some more details on methane gas and what the hydrates are doing under the ocean. Okay, I've got a lot of links down below. One is to the last video that we had such a great discussion on, and another one is to other videos that I've made on methane. So you can just go down one after another and check it out. Or you can search on your favorite search engine, pink, all one word, ThePinkbarrio, and then skip and methane, and that'll bring up all my methane videos. So let's go over to the board and get some interesting news on methane. So on August 18th, 2017, methane peaked at 2881 parts per billion, up from last year. I don't have last year's numbers. If anybody has those or knows where to find them, let me know. So the biggest danger is that the CO2 is quickly heating up the atmosphere. Methane is also heating it up, but there's just not that much in the atmosphere as of yet. Now, as the heat goes up, the heat comes into the ocean and starts to go down. This is the ocean, this is the sea floor. These are the methane hydrates that are frozen underneath the sea floor in the mud. Now, as the heat continues, the heat will come down, and you'll start to thaw out this part of the methane. It will start out doing just this part, and it'll keep growing, getting deeper and deeper into the methane and getting deeper like this, until eventually this whole thing will leak and go into the ocean, all this methane. Now, the deeper it is, the less chance that the methane will make to the surface. Now, if it gets a big ball of melted methane going to the surface, yeah, it'll get all the way to the top and open up a hole in the ocean, literally, just for a few seconds, and then that'll slam shut after these bubbles of methane get out. Now, when you get into the shallow seas, the methane will then go right through the ocean because there's not much of a water table, and get into the air and cause extreme methane buildup. But as of right now, it hasn't really started this yet. It might be up in here, something like this. We're just at the beginning of what we call methane feedback loops. Now in 4 years, some scientists are saying that we'll have a 18 degree Fahrenheit rise in temperature, which will immediately warm all this methane up and cause catastrophic rise in methane, and temperatures will raise to the 140, 150 degree mark. Some predictions are even 210 degrees in just 4 or 5 years. That, I think, is ridiculous and a little off the wall. And this is why I think that. Here's a chart that we see on the internet quite a bit. It's the methane prediction of going up. Right now, methane has been stable until about 2014, 2015, when it started to rise. Now, this is just an average. This is the actual up and down. Now, back in 2006, we saw a huge methane spike, which then went back down, and is presently even lower today than it was in 2016 at this particular date that they're showing. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because their predictions by 2018 were to go straight, like a hockey stick, almost straight up. But the actual measurements aren't showing that. It's showing a continuous line, sort of going like this. See, and this part here isn't happening as of yet. You really just can't predict what's going to happen. There are too many variables and too many things we just haven't looked into yet. And that may be why methane hasn't started to really show its ugly head yet, that this is not melting quite yet. Same thing goes with the permafrost. It's just the closer to the North Pole, it will go from the warm to the North Pole slowly. It's not going to just instantly heat up overnight, unless we get some kind of really fast feedback. Right at this moment, I don't see it. I see time. I see time for humans to do something. And if we don't do something and just sit back, we are as stupid of an animal as any on the planet. I dropped my pan. We're in the skies. I can't get much more higher. You'll have the truth. We have so obviously, there's only one conclusion to this, is that humans need to stop eating meat. You know, it doesn't require just a few people to get off of meat. It requires the entire planet get off of meat and livestock. I happen to be a vegetarian myself, have been one most of my life, and I couldn't be healthier. Plenty of energy to do anything I want. On with the video. And the nice thing is that my health of my heart and my veins throughout my body is as good as it was when I was first born. So that right there, not having clogged veins at an older age, lets you do things that you used to do when you were much younger. I've never stopped doing them and don't plan on it anytime soon. Okay, that leaves us to our last issue. This weekend here in San Francisco, we have a white nationalist supremacist hate group of neo-Nazis coming to protest here in San Francisco. Fortunately, they're not going to be downtown. They're going to be off in Crissy Field, which is so far away from anything that I don't even see who would even notice them. I mean, it's not a place where you drive by or walk by or ride by. Kind of out in the middle of an old airfield, really. But we'll see what happens. That's supposed to be this weekend. I have no way of getting over there to cover it. It's just too hard to get to, and the camera equipment's too big and heavy. And I've learned not to put camera gear on bicycles. It just doesn't last unless it's something like a GoPro or something. All right, what I wanted to talk next about was the last video, link down below. I really appreciate you guys' discussions on there. They were excellent. I got the message, sort of agree. I appreciate the ups and downs and the new subscribers, and until next time.
just the way you